Hi, my name's Karen Davies, and this is the Karen Davies Podcast, episode 18. Today, we're going to talk about learning, about formal education, about mindset, and about how war shaped the worldwide school system. So, class, let's begin. When we're young, we naturally do hard things. Learning to walk, speaking in your mother tongue, and if you're in a developed country, then almost 100% of us will be lucky enough to get formal education by attending primary and secondary school to learn reading, writing, maths, science, etc. But as we grow older, we start to do less and less learning in a formal environment. After you learn to drive and you pass your test, or after you finish secondary school, then the percentage of people that stick with formal education of some sort and enrol in college or university drops to between 38% in the UK, 50% in Australia, and 61% in America. The numbers for apprenticeships or trade courses are even less. So, why do we stop learning? And more importantly, why do we have teachers and educators for things like algebra, English literature and physical education, but we don't have people to teach us essential life skills? Skills like financial literacy, time management, problem solving, effective communication, and emotional intelligence play a crucial role in our personal and professional success. These skills are like hidden gems that can truly empower us to navigate the real world. Imagine if we had dedicated teachers guiding us on these essential skills alongside the standard school topics. Now, you're probably thinking that I'm about to say that everyone should go to university or college. Not so, my friends. In fact, I firmly believe, having obtained 3 undergraduate degrees, that the current university system is outdated. I particularly have issue with exams. When on earth did anyone in the real world, outside of a school setting, tell you that they were going to make you do an exam? Absolutely ridiculous. At the very least, our formal education systems should reflect the real world. Anyway, I digress. I'm not here to talk about degrees or formal education as we know it. I started thinking about this when I was in my 30s. So I'd already spent 3 decades on this planet. I'd gone through school, I'd gotten a degree in management, and also a practical qualification in cooking. But I'd not invested any actual money in educating myself outside of that. And that's when I stumbled across personal development, also known as self-development. I remember reading a couple of books on finance, and aside from the usual budget and investment strategies, all the authors had one thing in common. They had all invested money in themselves. They were talking about attending seminars, conferences, masterminds and courses, and taking time away from the jobs and families to do these things. These people, who were multimillionaires and billionaires in their own right, and who seemingly had fulfilling lives outside of monetary wealth, were paying other people to teach them, and I was stunned. Surely they didn't need to earn any more. Surely they already had all the money and the lifestyle that they wanted. But I was wrong. Many of these people stated that they wouldn't be where they are today if they hadn't invested in themselves in this way. They also said that one of the most important things that they ever worked on and spent money and time on was developing their mindset. I had no idea what this meant, so I Googled it, and at the time, this is what I found. According to Google, your mindset is a set of beliefs and perceptions that you hold about yourself and others, and that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. Your mindset influences your behaviour, how you think, how you feel, your outlook, and your mental attitude. Your mindset also shapes how you respond to different situations, challenges, and opportunities. I was blown away by this. It seemed to me that to get ahead in life, not just to get rich, but to be happy, fulfilled, to develop IQ and EQ, and to improve social standing, etc., you could take courses and read books and learn about and develop your mindset. Why weren't they teaching this in schools? I've spent the best part of 3 decades in formal education, and this was not mentioned even once. I was aghast. How had this come to be? Well, forget what you've been told. Our education system isn't some broken mess. Nope. It's actually working just as it was meant to. But here's the kicker. The reason behind its design might just blow your mind. Now, I'm not talking about the 2-month holidays that kids get in the middle of summer, which is supposedly a throwback to when we were all farmers and we needed to do farm work. No, I'm talking about the structure of the education system. You see, back in the day, parents and private tutors and churches were in charge of education. But then, about 200 years ago, along came Prussia, a region in Germany, and they decided to shake things up. You see, in 1806, Prussia had just suffered a major defeat by Napoleon's army, and Prussia was not about to let that happen ever again. So they hatched a plan to build an army of educated, loyal soldiers. And that's how our modern school system got started. Prussia came up with all these fancy ideas like specialised buildings, teacher certifications, standardised curriculum, longer school years and terms, and mandatory attendance. The goal? To churn out a whole generation of literate, patriotic citizens ready to fight for their country. So education was cleverly used as a cover for indoctrination. They made it seem like they were encouraging students to question everything, but in reality, there were some pretty big exceptions. Parents, teachers, and politicians were all off limits when it came to questioning. Right from the beginning, the system was never meant to empower kids to think independently. They needed people to turn up at allocated times in prescribed locations, take on board the lectures or teachings from people in authority, and then be quizzed on this. There was no mention of mindset or developing objective thinking. Far from it. And all this goes a long way to explaining why formal education isn't everyone's cup of tea and why it shouldn't be used as a template for teaching. According to Dr. Carol Dweck, who wrote the excellent book Mindset, there are 2 primary types of mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset assumes that abilities and talents are innate and unchangeable. People with a fixed mindset believe that this is the way things are and there is nothing to be done that can change it. While people with a growth mindset believe that skills and abilities can be developed and improved through effort, hard work and learning. Your mindset can have a huge impact on your personal and professional success as it shapes your attitudes towards challenges, failures and opportunities. Having a growth mindset can help you to embrace challenges, persist through setbacks and ultimately achieve your goals. So, how do you know if you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Let me help you. People with a fixed mindset tend to hold the belief that their abilities cannot be improved significantly with effort or practice. For example, people with a fixed mindset often avoid challenges because they fear failure or the possibility of being exposed as incompetent. Other traits of people with fixed mindsets include: 1, feeling threatened by the success of others. 2, believing that talent is a primary determinant of success and that hard work and effort are less important. 3, people with fixed mindsets often view failure as a personal indictment of their abilities, and as a result, they may avoid taking risks or trying new things. Number 4, they may be resistant to feedback, particularly negative feedback, because they see it as a reflection of their abilities or lack thereof. And number 5, finally, people with a fixed mindset may be more likely to give up easily when faced with obstacles or setbacks, as they may believe that their abilities are fixed and cannot be improved. But the good news is that having a fixed mindset is not a permanent state, and anyone can develop a growth mindset at any time with effort and practice. I'll say that again for those in the back. Anyone can develop a growth mindset at any time with effort and practice. Meaning, if you're listening to this podcast and you recognise a lot of those traits of a fixed mindset in yourself, then that's okay, because you can change this at any time. It won't be easy. Like changing anything, it will take time and effort, but you can do it. So, what are the traits of people who have a growth mindset? Number 1, they embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. So instead of being deterred by something they may not be familiar with or they may not be very good at, instead, they get excited at the chance to learn and to get better. Number 2, they view failure as a stepping stone towards success, meaning that they get back up and have another crack at something. Number 3, these people are often open to feedback and actively seek out opportunities for self-improvement. Number 4, people with a growth mindset tend to have a positive attitude towards learning, and they believe that abilities are not fixed but can be developed over time with effort and perseverance. And finally, number 5, people with a growth mindset see effort and persistence as essential to success, and they're willing to put in the work required to achieve their goals. Adopting a growth mindset, i.e. seeking out and doing hard things, can help us to overcome challenges, build resilience and achieve our goals by developing a love of learning and a willingness to persist through obstacles. Imagine adopting a growth mindset where challenges become opportunities for growth and failures become stepping stones towards success. It's a mindset that fuels resilience, motivation and adaptability. With a growth mindset, we can embrace challenges head on, persist through setbacks and achieve our goals. And guess what? We are all born with a growth mindset. That's how we learn to crawl and to walk and to speak. If we didn't persist through those setbacks, then we'd all still be rolling around on the floor, gurgling unintelligibly to ourselves. Recently, I was asked what I think my greatest skill is, and my answer was to have the ability to fail, fall flat on my face and make an absolute idiot of myself, but to get up and try again. Examples of this include learning advanced maths in my 30s. I cried almost every day. I didn't understand half the formulas and examples in the textbooks, but I kept going. That time when I attempted to re-grout my shower. This time I was in my 40s and I ended up sat in a half-grouted shower covered in dust and grout and crying because it looked terrible and I didn't know how to fix it. But I got back on YouTube. I watched some more videos that gave tips on how to improve, and then I kept practicing. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a magical story with a happy ending. The shower still looks really bad, but the grouting gets visibly better as you look down the wall, so the practice definitely paid off. Here's the deal. If you want to upgrade your mindset, you've got to make some intentional changes to how you think and handle situations. Lucky for you, I've got some great strategies for you to use. Strategy number 1, start paying attention to those thoughts, beliefs and attitudes you've got swirling around in your mind. Think about how they're affecting your emotions and actions. Number 2, spot those negative thought patterns like self-doubt or self-criticism and replace them with some evidence-backed positive affirmations. 3, Don't run away from or feel down about setbacks. Look at them as golden opportunities for growth and learning. Adopt that growth mindset and focus on improving yourself. Number 4, align your goals with what you truly value and prioritise them accordingly. And don't forget to do a little happy dance when you make progress. Number 5, shift your focus to the good stuff in your life. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're thankful for, especially when things get tough. Number 6, you need to surround yourself with awesome people. People who've got your back and who push you to be your best self. Seek out positive influences like great books, amazing podcasts, networking groups, an amazing coach, or whatever floats your boat. And finally, number 7, take care of numero uno, meaning treat yourself right. Engage in activities that make your body, mind and soul feel amazing. Exercise, meditate, indulge in hobbies, whatever it is that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Remember, improving your mindset isn't an overnight event. It takes time and effort. So be patient, keep at it, and celebrate every little bit of progress that you make along the way, even the failures, because every single little failure brings you that one step closer to improvement. So go ahead and celebrate, because you, my friend, are crushing it. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, come and check out my website, KarenDaviesCoaching.com. There's plenty of resources, tips and downloads, as well as the opportunity to work with me.